You ready to get started?
Yes.
Here we go. Chapter 6. Where did we leave off? Good. I'm going to go through it quick. Let's talk about car assignment before we go on to chapter 6. Because it is due in 2 days by 11 p.m. and there's 10 of you who have not done it so far. So if you haven't done it, get it done. Most people, it takes maybe their second or third car to get the approval and get a score. So you don't want to do it on the very last night and think it's your very first car and you're gonna get some grade even if you made a mistake. You get no grade or 0 until you do it right. So keep that in mind. This is one of those 2 assignments you'll have all semester where the only way to get a score at all is by doing it right. So that's why it's taking more than 1 car to hand in for a lot of people. So I want to remind you of that. Any questions? I keep putting up where to go? The cars that have been handed in as fast as I can. So if for some reason you don't see your car up there, just look back in a few hours. Because I usually, as soon as I get 2 handed in, then I'll update the sheet. But now, these are a wide range of prices. Some are better values than others. But if you know anybody looking for a car, tell them a lot of research has already been done for them. Just get them this. So we have 2 pages so far. One more page. No questions on the car sign. That's it? Really? Wow. Let's get to it. Today, we're finishing chapter 6. We have no class on Monday. And when you get back on Wednesday, a week from today, is your first quiz over chapters 1 and 6. Right? We left off where we were talking about buying versus leasing. Let me see here. Here on slide 6, it talks a little bit about buying a motor vehicle and so on and so on. But what I really want to, which I know is going to be in your future, is calculate which ones have better value as far as should you buy or should you lease. And that was on page, I think it was like 199 or something. Depending on which, 199. Depending on which edition you have. Now, on top of this example, right here, there's also, I'm going to post tonight, right here, 2 more examples of buying versus leasing, with the answers and everything. For you to, prepare you to study, and you can print this and have it while you're taking the quiz right in front of you. Oh, you can't even see it. The top one is without opportunity cost involved, and I think I told you Monday that if this were on a quiz, the opportunity cost would not be part of it. So when we go over this, we're going to ignore the opportunity cost. But there's some people who want to know how it's done with opportunity cost. Here's a different example with opportunity cost involved, which is, it's just saying, hey, how much money did you have to take out of this 4% interest account to do this down payment? And if you had not done this down payment, that money would still be making 4% over 48 months, 4 years. 4% times 4 years times the down payment. There's the opportunity cost. That's part of the cost of buying that you don't have to do on this first quiz. You can ignore that part. That's where everybody usually starts to screw up a little bit. And so I want everybody to be able to get this the way it's done on the very top one without the opportunity costs. And we're going to go to this one right here. Let's start with buying a car. It starts with your down payment. In this example, the down payment is $2,000. Then it's your monthly loan payment. In this example, this person did a 48-month loan at $385 a month. So you multiply that out to get a certain amount of money, $18,480. There's the opportunity cost would be the 3rd step. You can leave that one out. The 4th step is to subtract how much the car could be sold for. All right? And so you subtract that because you get that money back after the 4 years. So you take 2,000 plus 1,840, you skip that 240, subtract 6,000. The total to buy is 14,720, but how long do you own the car after you've spent 14,720? 4 years, 48 months. So either divide by 4 or 48 to get the yearly or the monthly amount this car cost you So you can compare apples to apples with the lease. So you're either comparing the monthly cost or the yearly cost. Because the lease on the right side is only 3 years. So when you get a total for that car, it will be the cost for 3 years compared to 4 years. So you're not comparing apples to apples. So you've got to break it down to per year or per month. On the right side, your security deposit, a lot of leases don't even do security deposits anymore, and the assumption is you'll get it back. If I were doing this on a quiz, I'd probably leave the security deposit on the lease off, because to reflect reality. Then, your monthly lease payment, this one is $385 times 36 months, $13,860. There's that opportunity cost that we're leaving out of the picture for this first quiz. You can just ignore out both of these. Opportunity cost is not going to be asked for. And then, end of the lease charge. Now that's reality. Most people have these charges they didn't expect when they hand their lease car in. Most commonly is they've gone over the mileage limit. And another very common one is some damage got found that they call outside normal expected whatever damage. And so you all of a sudden will get charged for that damage. And you start to feel like there's nothing you do about it. And it's probably very hard to fight. But it's possible. Look at it, I had a receipt fall out of my pocket. Why do I have this receipt?
So you can put it in your box.
That's right. That's right. All right. Now, we add all that up. With the opportunity cost, you get $14,687. It looks like that lease is a less expensive deal, a better deal. And I want to just change a little bit of this to reflect reality, but we're going to divide that amount by 3 years, so it's $4,895 a year. The amount that we're spent buying the car by 4 years, now you can see it's significantly less expensive, $3,680. If you divide each of these by 12, you'll see buying the car had a much lower monthly cost. And that's almost always the case, especially if you're using that system. What I want to do is here's one of the number one reasons why people lease. That $385 lease payment is if the same or similar car is $385 to buy it, usually the lease, the temptation of the lease, is someone always says it was less of a monthly payment than had I bought it. So, as an example, 385 versus, let's say, 348. Just that little bit amount, $348 versus 385, will convince a lot of people to lease instead of buy. All they see is, I will be able to spend, what is that, a little less than $36, what is it, help me out. My mind's gone. 385 to 348. What is that? Let's go with 50. So that'd be 35, 36, $37. All it is $37 a month difference, less money, and this is what all it takes for somebody to be tempted to say, I want that lease. Notice on the lease, there's nothing at the end. When you hand it in, it's not like selling it. Oh, I made all these payments, and now I can sell it and get some of that money back to use as a down payment. It's not like that. You hand it in, and you just hope you're not getting a bill in about a week or two. But if you do the math, even if you took it all the way down to 348, you'll see that buying is still a better deal. What it was bought for, $20,000. What it was sold for, $6,000. That's $14,000 loss in value over 4 years. $14,000 over 4 years is about $3,000 blanky blank per year depreciation. Divided by 12, that's like $300 a month. Is that right? No. Divided by 12. Anybody? $400 a month? That can't be. Take 3,000. What's 14 divided by 4? 14 divided by 4. 3.5. $3,500 a year in depreciation on that example of buying the car. Divided by 12. 3,500 divided by 12. Just all over there. $291. That car, in this example, depreciated $291 a month. The example of this car assignment, if you embrace it, and you're going for finding a car that's at least 20% below the benchmark, you're going to take this $291 down to closer to $100 a month. almost with whichever car you're buying. If you follow that system, that's reality. That's exactly what happens to most people, is that $291 a month in depreciation. Because you'll slow depreciation down so much that you'll be able to sell the car for way less than what you owe. And if you did a 4-year loan, you wouldn't owe anything. And you're now going to use that money to put a down payment on the next car. You probably even have a smaller payment because you got to borrow so much less. And then you can do that again and buy 1 or 2 more later. If you follow the system, you almost have no loan when you go to buy a car, depending on if you have the the discipline to not spend the cash that you're now not having to use. So that's how you do it. You ready? Let's look at this example right here. One more, because this is a big one. Buying the car versus leasing the car. Down payment, $4,000 on the buying it. Monthly loan, $560. First of all, that's outrageous. I don't know what was bought here. That's crazy. And that was for 48 months. And then the value at the end, $7,200. So you take 560 times 48, you add the down payment of 4,000, subtract how much you would get afterwards, 23,680. How many months did we have the car, or years? That'd be 4 years, is that right? Divide by 4 or divide by 48, get the monthly amount on that first one. The second one, you're going to lease it. You did a down payment on the lease. A lot of these leases are saying $1,200 up front, or $1,999 up front, or bring your trade-in in, and you'll get at least $2,000 for it, and it'll be your down payment on the lease. So we're going to count the down payment at $1,200. Monthly lease, $440. $440 versus $560. A lot of people will say, I'm going for the $440. That's a significantly lower monthly output of my cash. And that's really what they focus on. And then the length of the lease is 48 months. And at the end of the lease, there was charges of $600 for mileage or beyond normal wear and tear, kind of dents or something. And you add all that up, $22,960. It looks like the lease is a better deal. Wait a minute. It is a better deal. So there you go. Here's an example where the payment is so much lower, it ends up being a better deal. Is that correct? Is that what it's saying there? That's a crazy example. How much did the new car depreciate? We don't know what the original price was. There we go. $24,000 in 4 years, down to $7,200. That is reality on a new car. So it depreciated. You guys tell me. What is that? 14, 15, 16, 17. What is it? $17,000. I don't know. You tell me. Is that 17? $17,000 in 4 years? That's $4,000 a year. Wow. That's lost values. Most of it in the first, much more in the first year, a little less in the second year, a little less in the third year. Depreciation slows down the longer you own the car. So most of it's at the beginning kind of thing. It goes real fast and then slows down a little, slows down a little. So if there's any time in your life you, for some reason, was able to keep your car for like 10 years, you're now slowed depreciation way down. And I know it's hard for a lot of people to want to keep a car for 10 years.
We've talked about depreciation a lot, and I just want to make sure that I totally understand what we're talking about here. That's always an estimated loss of value, right?
It's estimated until you sell the car. And then it's not estimated at all. You bought it for one price, you sold it for another, the difference is how much it lost in value while you owned it.
Okay.
That's
so all it really means is how much, so it depends on a lot of other things too when you come to sell the car at the end.
Believe it or not, car depreciations they don't really vary that much. I mean, if you went on, let's say Kelley Blue Book, and you found a car that you thought was a good value, take that exact car now on Kelley Blue Book on another page, but change the year of the car by 3 or 4 years, and see how much the difference is in value, and then do it with another one. And you know, if like a car who happens to, if they're both 4 cylinders and they're both, you know, the same year or something like that, the depreciation is going to be about the same for each of them. There's not a lot of factors. It's pretty consistent, but it's kind of supply and demand, but depreciation is kind of a consistent thing. Matter of fact, let's go real quick. I want to point this out to you. I'm sorry, auto cost, we're going to slide, I forgot, 17. Are we not good here? Here, is a list that you're going to recognize the costs involved in owning a car. There's interest on a loan. You got to have car insurance. At least to be legal, you have to have car insurance. You got to pay for a license plate, tag, and register the car, and taxes. Yeah, the taxes out of that registration pretty much is on there. Variable costs. If you drive it, you're going to need gas. You're going to need oil changes, tires after a certain amount of money. Maintenance and repairs. Not in your case. For that whole first 12 months, or however much time left on that bumper-to-bumper warranty, you do not have maintenance and repairs. And if you need a maintenance repair, you take it to the local dealership that is the brand of, and they fix it for free. But take your homework with you, because usually they're a little slower than your average car repair place, but you're sitting in a really nice waiting room with probably some donuts and free water. And Wi-Fi. All of them have Wi-Fi. Parking and tolls, if we were in a big city, you would have a lot of those. But look at the very top. Depreciation is the largest cost of an automobile. Fixed cost that's going to happen even if you don't drive it. It's still depreciating. The only way to avoid depreciation is you bought some kind of a collector car that is gaining value because it's a one-of-a-kind or something like that. That'd be the only way, and then you wouldn't drive it. And the insurance cost would be so high. So you've got to just say, how do I slow depreciation down as much as possible? And that's where that system came up. Is I just kept thinking, how do I slow the most expensive part of owning a car? How do I slow it down? And still not take the risk out of buying. Now I want to add to this. If you do buy a car, and you did get what they call a lemon, you happen to live in Michigan. And in Michigan, they got when they made this law, it was kind of a big deal. It was one of the stricter ones around. And some states don't have lemon laws at all. But if you ever get a car and you feel like you got ripped off, for example, you're still in college, you bought an older car, you wanted it to last at least 1 year, and it didn't. Read all the little rules in here, but you have recourse if you felt someone took advantage of you and selling you a car. Michigan lemon law is kind of in favor of the buyer. But if you bought a car using that system, you've already graduated and you're making a lot of money, you don't care about the Michigan lemon law, because if something happens to the car, you just take it to the local dealership and they fix it for free. You have bumper-to-bumper warranty. That's the whole point. You take the risk out of buying a used car, making sure it still has bumper-to-bumper warranty, so it's fixed for free. Even if you accidentally bought a lemon, it's fixed for free. I knew one person, they replaced the whole engine for free. Because they still had the bumper-to-bumper warranty, and the person who bought it didn't tell them something maybe, or whatever, however it happened. So Michigan lemon law, you can go through this whole thing. There are little things. Keep copies of your correspondence where you were trying to get the person to take the car back, or you were trying, or whatever happened, or if you got it fixed, keep all records. There you go. You need the shoebox. Keep all the records if you're going to go through a legal case. But if you read through this and you read a lot of other web pages, have a lot more information. The Attorney General's web page has a lot of information. The state Attorney General's page, and you'll see that things are going to be in your favor. How do you then get recourse? You either go to small claims court, and you should not be afraid to ever go to small claims court, because you don't have a lawyer and they don't have a lawyer, and if you can talk on the phone or send them an email and make your point because you're mad as hell, you can do it in court. Same thing, the judge will listen to every word you have to say. After the judge, he or she, will force you to go in and will room with that person and try to work it out. They'll ask you, I've been involved in a lot of court cases, small and large, but when you're there for a court case, you get to watch a whole bunch of them while you're waiting. So that's where you learn a lot. And almost every time, the question is, in a small claims court, when was the last time you two tried to work this out? And if a big enough time gap's there, the judge will force you to go in the room B and try to work it out. And when I see you come back in, I'll put you next on the docket when I see you're back. But I'm going to do some other cases. You guys, if you've been that long since you even talked about it, I want to see where you're at. Go work it out. And you're forced to try to do something. How much does it cost to go to small claims? And then when you come back, you couldn't work it out, but you get to tell both your sides and where you stand. That judge will find the middle. Arbitration, they find the middle. I've been through arbitrations too. Find the middle if you can't really work it out. They almost don't take what you have to say completely into consideration. You know, they can't say, well, that's your viewpoint, and then the other person, well, that's your viewpoint. You both could be kind of right a little. Okay, boom. There you go. You owe this much. 50% responsibility, 50% responsibility. If you're going to file for small claims, it all depends how much you're suing for. Here are the fees in Genesee County. It's not that expensive. Again, the limit 6,000. I don't know if this is old. It usually goes up a little bit every couple of years. But right now, the limit's 6,000. If you're suing someone from 1,751 to 6,000, when you go to file the paperwork, you'll go to the small claim. You'll see a link for forms. It will describe in here exactly which forms you have to fill out. You fill out the forms, and then you go there, and they'll process it, and they'll hand you back some stuff. You have to then make sure whoever it is you're suing gets served. And there's instructions on there, the options. In the old days, you either are doing it yourself, and some people don't like to do that, or if you mail it through the federal mail system, and you take pictures or whatever just to make sure you know you mailed it, it's really good to get a tracking number. That's a big deal. In the old days, they didn't even ask you to get a tracking number. As long as you mailed it through the federal mail, they consider that kind of serving, which is kind of weird. And there was times, I remember I had this situation. I used to own a lot of rentals, and I don't anymore, just one now. But if you have to evict somebody, same thing. You have to have them served yourself, or have someone serve them, or you have to send it through the mail. Or if you tape it up in plain view, where there's no way they can miss it. In the old days, that used to be as good as serving them also. So I tape it on the front of the garage where I know they park. Okay. I thought it was funny. $50, $30, $70, and that's it. That's your full cost. There's almost no cost other than postage. Has anybody had experience with small claims at all? Most people have never even experienced it at all. You know it's open to the public. I know none of you have a day to go sit in court, but if you could spend a couple hours there, you would learn a lot. Just pick any of them that trials are taking place. It's unbelievable how interesting it kind of is. I even saw people there from the credit union that I belong to, and they were suing their customers in small claims. So the person who works in the credit union was there at one of the times I was there. So now I want to teach you about class action lawsuit. We talked about small claims. We talked about the Michigan lemon law. But class action lawsuit, I'm going to slide 20 right here. Has anybody been involved in a class action lawsuit at all? Really? Wow. If you have your own apartment, you know, you graduate from college, you're on your own, you're paying utilities, or there's all kinds of different things. There's usually about every 10 years there will be a class action lawsuit, and because you were living in the area receiving utilities from whatever the company is, consumers, or whatever company, wherever you live, during this date to this day, you have the opportunity to join a class action lawsuit. Everybody was overbilled, we're proving it in court, you're being contacted by lawyers because legally they can get a list if there's a class action lawsuit of everybody that could possibly be part of the class action because they were overcharged or all these bills were miscoded or something like that. And when you get the letter, my advice is look through it a little bit, but join. You almost do nothing after you sign the paperwork and say, yeah, count me in. And you just go ahead and forget about it because, you know, who knows for sure if you even get anything. So then what happens is about a year will go by and you'll get a letter in the mail saying the class action lawsuit's been settled or it went to court and you won or something like that. And it will say the class action lawsuit won, I don't know what, hypothetically it's a big number usually, but I'm just going to use $3 million. $3 million. The law firm who put this all together almost always, not every time, but almost always gets 1/3. That's pretty standard. So they're getting $1 million. What's left for everybody in the class action in this hypothetical example is $2 million. You read the letter a little longer, and just like you, a whole bunch of people said, why not? Let's see what happens. So you got to split this with 220,000 customers. Give me it. 2 million divided by 220,000. This is hypothetical, but this has happened to me many times. And then you look at the letter and it says, and a check is enclosed. And you pull it out, and the check is for $9.09. That's very typical. My largest one may have been $60 or $70, but you know, several of them are like this. And that's how it is. So who really won in a class action lawsuit when this happened? The lawyer. That's who won. And that's almost always the case. You didn't lose anything. That's right. Absolutely. I'm in one right now. I almost forgot. I'm in a class action lawsuit because my rental property happens to be in the city of Flint. And during the housing or the water crisis, everyone's values were already on the way back up a little bit from the crash of 2008, went back down again because of the water crisis. So these lawyers said, they sent everybody, including me, anybody who owned a home in the city, these letters saying you want to join the class action lawsuit. Obviously, you know, they grouped us all together, but the ones who are really going to get money are the ones who are affected by what was in the water. Those of us who happen to own homes that are in the city of Flint, whose values went down because of the crisis, I don't know how that's going to work out, but I would imagine very little money is really going to get to people like me, because I'm not going to live there, you know, Adam. But if anybody's looking for a rental, it's a great return on investment, and if you live close, because you do have to stop there a couple times a month to get the rent, but they're great renters. They pay every time. And they've been there for 5 years. I just don't want to drive into Flint to get the rent. I live too far away. All right, let's keep going. Did I just record that little sales job on my rental? I hope I remember to edit that out. So, can you calculate how much each person would get if you had this information? Do I have this on your study? Yeah, maybe an example here on the study. Class action lawsuit against a utility company resulted in a settlement of $1.2 million for 62,000 customers. The legal fees, which must be paid for the settlement, was $300,000, not quite a third. It would have been $400,000, so how they got a break, I'm not sure. What amount will each plaintiff receive? Take the 1.2 million, subtract the 300,000, and then that's an equal sign, you really can't see it. Then divide by the 62,000 people, they each get $14.52. Can you calculate that? This study page I'm posting, if I haven't yet, I'm going to post tonight. I'm hoping we'll prepare you for your quiz a week from today. Because this is the kind of questions you'll have, and then your homework kind of prepared you so you can see what a true and false and a multiple choice question might look like. And whatever time it took you to find the answer in chapter 1 from your text or on the internet, which you can't use the internet during the quiz, is what you should expect when you're taking the quiz. So, my advice to prepare for the quiz is not memorize any of this stuff, but how quickly you can find the information in the text or at your notes or anything you printed from Blackboard, the PowerPoints. I hope you don't print them, but if you should have the PowerPoints while you're taking the quiz. So you should have a computer or print them. A lot of people will put 4 slides on a page or 6 slides. Said what?
Never mind, you already said it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. A lot of people do. I don't know how many pages you're allowed to print before you start getting charged, but try to put like 6 slides on a page or you're going to go through too many pages. Don't you only have a limit how many you can do?
Yeah, it's 400 a semester.
400 a semester?
And
yeah, you know I use it
over.
all up on these PowerPoint slides. So, does everybody know how to put 6 on? Because I haven't done it in years. I don't even remember how. But if everybody wish they had instructions to do it, I'll put an all-point bulletin for somebody to write instructions and I'll give it to you. So just let me know if you've never done it before. So you can figure out which the monthly or yearly cost, whether it's buying or leasing, and compare them. The only thing we haven't covered are the purchase strategies. I just realized all the auto costs, legal options such as small claims, and then class action lawsuits and how that's calculated and what they mean. So strategies. We're going to slide 3 if you happen to have this PowerPoint. Now, when I go to buy something that's expensive like a car, I will shop and shop and shop. And when I find a good deal, I'm skeptical and I keep shopping while I'm investigating that good deal, and I'll shop and I'll shop. And what's crazy is most people have a certain price point where they'll do that also. They'll shop and shop and shop. But then there's a certain price, that same price point or below, there's a lot of people who say, I'm not going to price compare. How much am I going to save? $2 or $5 maybe, or maybe I'm only going to save $10 or $3. But then there's someone like me who will drive all the way 5 blocks to save 2 cents a gallon. Anybody relate with this at all? You know what I'm talking about? So, what I'm trying to tell you is one of the strategies that I want to advise you to try to embrace is to care about the price of everything. That even if you're only going to save $1 by just putting in some time to do the research, if you did it on everything you usually don't care about, that's $1 probably every other day for, divide 365 days in half, that's that much money just by changing the habit of just buying things. For example, you're at one of your favorite places you buy groceries, and while you're in line, there's all this temptation surrounding you in the aisle, if you're not self-serve, right? Even by the self-serve, really, but because you're having to wait, it's all screaming at you. And yet, the markup on the stuff in that aisle is probably the highest markup they have in the store, hoping you'll just grab one item while you're waiting. They purposely, this is the whole idea behind it, we're going to get the people in the door by advertising an unbelievable low price on several items, but once they're in the door, we're gambling and hoping and will make up for it by the other spontaneous purchases most people will make while they're shopping, going to get the thing that they came there to get. Does that make sense? It's a very common thing. So, one of the strategies that I want to point out is, this is my favorite one, price comparison, price comparison, price comparison. That's my biggest advice on strategy. I used to say, there is almost nothing I can't find a better price than what you're about to show me on something. I used to say that to everybody I know. You want me to look at the price on that? I guarantee you I can find a better price. There is no one that does the deep searching I go through to just save $5 on something. That's how much I value the work I put in to try to save some money and not spend it. Other strategy, timing is a good strategy, especially on a big ticket item. Long time ago, strategy, the marketing concepts have kind of changed, but a long time ago, cars were always had these reduction in prices right after the new year because car sales start to drop, and to get the incentive of trying to increase sales, there was always a certain time of year. And then there was another one, like at the end of a year, which would be like October. New models are out now, the next year's models, so they get rid of the old ones, they do all these incentives. It says you're never going to buy a new car. Never get into those incentives. Because even if you had every rebate and incentive and GM family and any other thing you qualify for, if you're buying a new car, your depreciation is going to be more than any of the used cars that you're comparing to a benchmark. As long as you get to that 15, 20, 25% below it, whatever those incentives are, you're going to end up wasting money compared to the system that you're learning in that assignment. Brand comparison. Long time ago, if you have any elderly people who are in their 70s and 80s, talk to them about brand loyalty. And when you talk to them, their reason is they feel that certain brands are better quality and they're going to last longer. And then the new generations, I don't know, you tell me, but for me, brand is not nearly as important as price, and if something does happen, the convenience to take it back and get my money back and switch. So recently I bought some security cameras, and I thought to myself, there's so many different kinds out there and so many different prices that if I go to Walmart to buy it, and I don't like it for any reason, and I know I'm going to keep my receipt, then I can take it back and try the other brand. So my research was about getting the best price. Brand didn't matter to me. And sure enough, the first one I bought was not meeting exactly what I needed. I wanted it to record 24/7, and I want to be able to look back at that recording, at least give me a certain amount of days. And some of them, you have to record to a cloud, and they're going to make you pay a fee if you ever go and look it up, and all this other stuff. There's all these different things. I took that one back, got another one. Again, brand means nothing. Take it home, play with it, try it out. Not meeting my needs. There's something about that one that's not doing. Every time you put the little memory card in, it would never record on the memory card. It would just like sit there, and no matter what you did, you couldn't get it working. I took that one back. Walmart, no hassle. No, what's the reason? Doesn't matter. We're taking it back, they'll take it back. That's what the loyalty is where I bought it at, not the brand. Third one, perfect. It was the least expensive one, which is crazy. It does exactly what I wanted to have done. It's recording 8 days before it starts to record, and that day, 8 days ago, is gone because it's adding a new day. So I can at least look back 8 days, no fee to be able to look back. It had the motion detection, you could change the sensitivity, and it even bright lights all of a sudden turn on, or really loud sounds when the dog barks really loud. It will give you, all of a sudden you'll get a notification of movement, which I love, and it'll be the cheapest one. Brand didn't matter. Things have changed because different places like Target and Walmart and all these different stores, their return policies are so generous. Many of them with no questions asked, as long as you got your receipt, and it's only a certain amount of time went by, that you can take the brand loyalty out and try every brand in the store, every brand they carry.
So why do you think so many people hold such high regard for specific brands?
Like General Electric, or some parents, I heard them say, Buick, I'll only buy a Buick, stuff like that, or I'll only buy General Motors or something. Yeah, back a long time ago, there wasn't a ton of different brands, and quality wasn't a big issue back in the 50s and 40s because things were just coming out, and so just things would break down, and they probably didn't have like warranties on them like they do now. I don't know. I don't know why the loyalty's there, but with elderly people, there is a real brand loyalty. Has anybody ever had a conversation about hearing a grandparent or a parent say, I have to buy that brand because it will last a lot longer? Nobody? I just see head shaking, just a couple. So you know what I'm talking about. What about yourself? Is there anybody here who says, no, here's the reason why I brand loyalty. Are you loyal to your phone brand, or would you ever switch to a different brand of phone? I know some people say, I'll never go out of an iPhone. Do you feel that way? You do? You do.
All of my information and purchases are already with Apple, so
yeah.
I have an incentive to stick with that and make sure I maintain.
But you can just download that app on an Android and do all the same thing.
Yeah, but I'm also talking about purchases of like compliments from iTunes as well.
Oh, you're saying you can't get that on to anything else? You got it through iTunes, you get it here, and then you take it from there and convert it out of from the MP4 to whatever, and then you.
The thing I know about iTunes is that it's very restricted.
Yeah, iTunes, man. iTunes is. They have figured out a way to try to get you to not do anything with your stuff unless you really know how to do conversion stuff, which they do make it hard. They do want you to be. They want you to be able to say.
So it's tricky stuff because like
Yeah,
even
I can't leave Apple. Yeah, exactly.
Apple's stuff these days is kind of, but
Yeah, you've been with them for long.
Yeah.
I've been with them even before the iPhone came out. I had a, what was the thing before the iPhone? iTouch? iPhone wasn't invented yet, but the iTouch had just come out, and I knew somebody that worked at, back then it was called, what was the electronics store off the middle road that's called Circuit City? Everybody remember Circuit City? A long time ago. And when the iTouch came out, I had to get it. I want to tell you, I was dreaming about being able to have a computer with HTML, with graphics and everything, a web page, in my hand before the iTouch came out. When the iTouch came out, I was like, my dream has come true. I am holding my laptop in my hand. I just couldn't believe it. It was so exciting. Anyway, and that really wasn't that long ago. Look how things have changed. Everybody has a computer in their hand. I've got 3. I got one recording, one here, and I got a backup. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. And really, it hasn't been that many years. I was trying to go back, when did I buy that iTouch? And it was less than 12 years ago for sure. And I'm guessing 11 or 10 years ago. It's only been 11 or 10 years. We went from no computer in your hand, real computer with a real web page, to unbelievable things. And yet, because you think time has gone so slow, you think it's been a long time. Don't you? 10 years ago, a lot of you were very young, so you didn't realize before that, nobody had a way to have something right in their hand like that and get a full web page. Before that, it was just like texting, just little things. And when you go into the web page, you didn't get all the graphics on your phone. It was just wasn't even worth having going to the internet before iPhones came out. Anyway, the internet's one of the greatest inventions of my life, but having a handheld computer, I put it up there close also to one of the best inventions, being able to hold it right in your hand. We got everything then? We're good? So we can get to our in-class assignment? What time are we going to? We got a half hour? What did I skip? Did I hand back to someone walked in? Hang on. You're under Courtney. Courtney? Okay, hang on, I'll bring it to you. Any questions before we get to the in-class assignment? Does everybody know what's expected? Have a really good idea what to expect a week from today when you come in for the quiz? We're going to have folders like that one behind the camera between each of you. You're going to have assigned seats that were done randomly. You're going to have different quizzes out there, just so you know that somebody who you usually hang out with isn't probably going to have the same quiz you have. I go to all kinds of crazy extremes just to make sure you realize, just figure out how fast you can find the information you need to be able to do that problem, refresh your memory how to do it. That's what you prepare for the quiz. You don't have to memorize any of the stuff. You need to memorize where to find the information you need. A lot of people will use tabs, these little plastic tabs to the key pages. If you wrote down all of these, find a page in the book for each subject, find a PowerPoint slide, and put it right next to every subject. What page, what PowerPoint slide. What page, what PowerPoint slide. And number your printouts of the homework assignment answers. Number them, and what homework assignment number. And you take each subject, and when you're reading a problem, you go, which subject, oh, this is buying a car versus leasing. PowerPoint, blah, 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 book, blah, blah, blah. Example, printout, blah, blah, blah. And that would save you. Time is going to be your worst enemy on my quizzes. There's like 4 or 5 or more people that have had a quiz of mine before. So, they can kind of verify that time is kind of your worst enemy if you take too much time trying to find the answer. Everybody wants to find the answer. If you start to run out of time, here's my advice. Do not leave a single question blank. You tie my hands. I am so generous with partial credit for an answer that you would be killing yourself by leaving it blank. If you are absolutely have no clue how to answer the question, grab whatever numbers out of it you can, add them, then subtract them, then multiply them, or something like that. Divide, do something with the numbers you see so that you can get some partial credit, knowing I'm going to be generous. Okay? Don't leave anything blank. Multiple choice, if you leave a multiple choice blank or a true false, that's crazy. At least guess. You're going to get 60 minutes most likely. I haven't written it yet. I have it on my planner to write on Friday. So I get started on Friday and then I'll finish it probably on Monday or something. But it's usually 60 minutes and it's usually about 2 or 3 pages. But there's a lot of room on each page to show your work and stuff. And that's the key also. Show your work. Oh my God. We get it. I want to say this again, because I know I said it in the last lecture. Here's a perfect example of a future value, present value type of a question, which are going to be probably for a lot of you the hardest part of the quiz. But here's an example, plus there was like 4 of them that I posted last week, and then those pages that we went through with all kinds of examples also. Well, let's talk about this one, because here is the kind of work I expect if you used a table. If you used a calculator, the work is just like those examples in the book where you tell me what you entered and the key you pushed. What you entered, the key you pushed. And if you're using the formula, because math is your thing, show your work. Show me the setup, show me how you calculate it, All of them have work to be shown no matter how you do it. And in this example, a person is saving $58 a month and by doing comparison shopping. What's the amount they'll save a year? $58 times 12, they're saving $696 a year if they save that much every week from doing comparison shopping and coupons. B, what would their future value be of the annual amount over 12 years, so compounded annually, blank periods, at an interest rate of 4%. Number of periods, there's 10 of them. Rate of interest rate per period, since it's yearly, is 4%. Which table did you use? Future value of annuity. Why annuity? That $58, or really the $696 is being put in there each year of the 10 years. So that money gets added on top of interest. You go to the future value table, the multiplier is 12.006. That $58 over 10 years, every month being put in there, will turn into $8,000, is that right? Yeah, $8,356.18 if it earns 4%. How'd the market do today? Investopedia is what we skipped. Wow, how can you guys not figure it? Jeremy, and where's the other Jeremy? Jeremy and Jeremy. You give me a look like you have no idea what I'm about to say. You did not check your portfolio today? You did not? Oh, man. Oh, it is crazy, 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 crazy. It's so crazy, it does not make sense. That's how crazy it is. Is everybody seeing him at the top there? At 11,938, how can he have $1,938? And I think you bought your stock either yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I think it's
Yesterday. How could he be up $1,938.47 in one day? How did it happen? Investopedia screwed up. There's no way it can happen. But I almost said Jeremy. Okay, Jeremy. He's up $318 on that heart pump something manufacturing company, bio company, that was really losing on Monday. You had lost some money on Monday, I think, right? You were down the fee $79 or something, I think.
No, it wasn't down 79, it was down like $4.
You were down $71.
I bought at 314.70, and then
Monday, at the end of Monday, wasn't everybody down? There wasn't one person that made money on Monday. Remember that? Because I was still
money. I just lost money on my commission because I did.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so you were only down like $17. That's what it was, not $70. But now, the next day, he made up that 17 or whatever dollars plus $318.22. Is that right? Can you believe it?
Actually fell back down and went down.
I was about to say, and then, now here's the first lesson you're going to learn from this experience. The first lesson in investing is, if you have, and this is why the main lesson is you always got to watch it, because if you have any investment that has this unbelievable jump, I don't remember what percent that was in one day.
It's $15 a share.
Yeah, but what percent of the share? It was, if it's over like 3% in one day or 5% one day, and I think it was even more than that, you got to say to yourself, what goes up like a rocket is going to head back down, and I need to get the heck out. And if he had sold yesterday, what's going to happen tomorrow is you had lost, I'll show you, today you had lost, is it more than what you gained?
No, I actually gained.
Oh, you're still up 292. That's right, so you only lost a little today. And this is screwed up on his, just like it's screwed up on his, right here, but this is accurate. On yours, that's not accurate. And I saw another one, I think this part's screwed up. I don't know why this is getting screwed up with Investopedia. In all the semesters we've been doing this, that's never happened. So that is happening to everybody here in the first couple of days, and I don't know why. But this is accurate, and his total's accurate, and I think everybody from second place down's totals are accurate. But your total's not accurate. For some reason, when you went to buy, it duplicated your portfolio. I mean, it duplicated your purchase at the same minute. You didn't notice, did you? He tried to buy 11 shares of Home Depot, and then at the exact same time, same day, for some reason, Investopedia said, oh, we're buying 11 more. but he only got charged for one of the purchases and not the other, and you'll notice he's up almost exactly that much money. And the reason you're up almost exactly that much money is because it thinks that this is your gain when really it was a purchase that you never made. Or really the money never got taken out or something. If somehow or another, now my guess is it's going to fix itself in a couple days. I think. That's my hope. If not, you're going to have an interesting paper at the end of the semester describing why your portfolio is out of whack by $1,943.87, okay? All right? It'll be in first place for the whole semester if it doesn't get fixed. But we'll keep putting you in reality when we go over it, though, so you know what place you're really in. Because odds are we just got to keep subtracting that and then see where you're at. Crazy. Can't believe you didn't notice. You were so shocked that I was even bringing up his name. Right, let's do the in-class. That is what we skipped. And I was going to go deeper into this, especially with, where is it? I even pulled up, is this one people? No, this is the one we were talking about. Where's the other one? That's fine. Anyway, I had another one. I thought I was going to talk about, oh, there it is, right there, Home Depot. Yeah, I can't. Well, yeah. I don't know what to say. Let's do it. You ready? Okay, break into groups. No one work alone. No one working alone. All right, you get from one way to the other. Don't let anybody work alone. Don't work alone. Do not work alone. All right, here's the deal. You're going to see this problem. You start it. Do not do the whole thing. Just get started. Help the others in your group. Compare. Then work on it more. Maybe finish it. Work. Everybody in your group has to be done with the same answer. You're handing in individual ones. Then you get up out of your group, compare to another group, not right behind you or in front of you, in another part of the room. Check their answer. If it's not the same, help each other. Then hand it in, right here. And you're out of here. Okay? Everybody understand how this works? My goal is to see everybody get 100 on this. It usually never happens on the first in-class. So let's see what happens. Here it is. If a person saves $2,400 each year, and it can earn 6% compounded annually on some low-risk investment, how much would the person have after 30 years? Round it to the nearest dollar. I don't need the pennies. And your rounding is a half a point, so round correctly. Did I hear that? Okay, good luck.